بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you all to the second episode of our series, The Arabic Sciences in Context. In the previous video, we spoke about the definition of language. We mentioned what the definition of language is. It is a set of sounds, a set of words and sentences which are used by a people to communicate amongst themselves. And Arabic is a language which was used by the Arabs to communicate amongst themselves. Allah chose this language for His last and final testament, the Noble Quran, which is His kalam, His speech. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose the best of the creation, the last and final messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam from the Arabs. Therefore, it is essential for Muslims in order to stay in touch, in order to stay connected, in order to understand the Quran and the Sunnah, that they know and understand the Arabic language. And for the preservation of the Quran and the Sunnah, it was necessary to preserve the Arabic language. The preservation of the Quran and the Sunnah, both in terms of wording, of course, the Quran has reached us as it was revealed, without a single change. So the preservation of the wording of the Quran and the meaning of the Quran meant that the Arabic language had to be preserved as well. And the Sunnah, some of it which has reached us is from the exact words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and some of it is riwaya bil ma'na, narrations which have reached us by meaning. And again, for the preservation of those wordings and meanings, the Arabic language needed to be preserved. The scholars of Islam from the earliest of times worked tirelessly to preserve different components, parts, and constituents of the Arabic language. And it's natural that when someone approaches a subject to study it, they study its different constituents, its different components and parts, and Arabic is no exception to that. The scholars of the Arabic language studied the different parts of the Arabic language, which then became different disciplines and subjects, which we know today and talk about. So if we go back to the smallest component of the Arabic language, it is the sounds, the sounds, the sound system of the Arabic language, the phonetic system of the Arabic language, how we pronounce the letters of the Arabic language. And the study of the sounds of the Arabic language, the phonetics of the Arabic language, most of these discussions are covered in the books of Ilm al-Tajweed, which is of course from the sciences of the Quran, Ulum al-Quran. But it's a science of the Arabic language as well, just like many of the sciences of the Noble Quran. You also have a modern discipline, a more contemporary discipline, Ilm al-Aswat, the study of the Arabic phonetic system and the study of Arabic phonology, based on, of course, modern research in linguistics and so on and so forth, but which, of course, draws heavily from classical resources and works of early linguists. So those that want to specialize in this particular component of the Arabic language, they need to study the works of Ilm al-Tajweed and the works of Ilm al-Aswat. But of course, this particular part of the Arabic language doesn't require you to study many books in it if your aim is not to specialize in it. Rather, your aim is just to learn how to pronounce the Arabic language, to attain, to acquire the skill of pronouncing the letters right, from their correct articulation points, and so on and so forth. For that, you only need to study with a trained qari, and maybe go through the qaida with them, or a basic, such a basic text like al-qaida al-nurani or al-qaida al-madaniya, and then practice reading the Quran with a trained qari, and you'll be able to learn practically the sound system of the Arabic language. The next discipline is, of course, Arabic writing, and the next part is writing those sounds, right? How you represent those sounds. And those sounds, of course, are represented in the form of letters. And how you write those letters and different rules related to writing are covered in two sub-disciplines, ilm al-khat and ilm al-imla. Um, you also have a more contemporary discussion which has been added to ilm al-imla, which is alamat al-tarqim, or punctuation marks. Punctuation marks. And this as well, it's not too difficult to learn unless you want to specialize in these disciplines. Of course, ilm al-khat even goes on, and advances into different types of Arabic calligraphy if someone is interested in that. And there are details related to ilm al-imla as well if someone wants to specialize in that particular field. But just to learn basic writing, you don't need to study many books. You just need to practice. You just need to practice that, and this type of practice is present. You have many nice practical workbooks which you can use to practice basic Arabic writing, how to form the Arabic letters, how you write them at the start of a word, in the middle of the word, at the end of the word, and so on and so forth. So this part of the training, learning the sound system and learning how to write, these basics, uh, they are, you don't need to study many classical texts in these. For the sound system, you can just study the qaida with a trained qari. And if you want to learn more rules related to reading the Quran, you can study one or two beginner texts in ilm al-tajweed as well. Now, once we've learned how to read the Arabic language and how to write it, um, we can move on to the next part of the Arabic language, which is the Arabic words. The Arabic words. Now, the Arabic words can be studied from different perspectives. So, for example, we have Dad, the letter Dad, the letter Ra, and the letter Ba. Right? And these, of course, represent sounds. I put these sounds, these letters together, and I get Daraba. Now, if I'm interested in the semantics of Daraba, in the meaning of the word Daraba, the denotation of the word daraba, then I will refer to the books of ilm al-lugha. I will refer to this discipline, ilm al-lugha, which deals with Arabic words and their meanings. And the main books of this particular discipline are the Arabic dictionaries. But you also have other works on ilm al-lugha or ilm matn al-lugha, which cover particular types of Arabic vocabulary. Then, if someone wants to study how words are formed in the Arabic language, how did I form daraba? How do I form yadribu? So how do I form the past tense verb form? How do I form the mudari' form? How do I form the fi'l amr from a particular root, etc.? How do I form words? How words are formed, how words are conjugated, the structure of the Arabic words and how that structure changes. All of those rules are covered in ilm al-sarf. So ilm al-sarf studies the anatomy of the Arabic word, the structure of the Arabic word. And then if you're interested in the etymology of words, uh, the relationships of words in terms of one another, which word is derived from which word, etc., then you have علم الاشتقاق. علم الاشتقاق. Some scholars consider علم الاشتقاق to be a part of علم الصرف. Others consider it to be a separate discipline. But there is no doubt that you find many discussions of علم الاشتقاق in the books of علم الصرف, and there's a lot of overlap. طيب. Then we can move on to the next component of the Arabic language, which is the sentences. Now, if you want, you've learned how words are formed. You've learned how to find out the meanings of different words by using different dictionaries. How do we form sentences? How do we put these words together to form meaningful sentences? That's studied in ilm al-Nahw. So ilm al-Nahw studies the anatomy of the Arabic sentence, the structure of the Arabic sentence, the grammatical functions of words within the Arabic sentence. That's ilm al-Nahw, syntax, Arabic syntax. And of course, ilm al-Sarf is Arabic morphology. Now, if you want to study the deeper semantics and pragmatics of the Arabic sentence, then you have ilm al-Balaghah. So in ilm al-Balaghah, you'll study figurative language, figurative speech, linguistic devices, metaphor, simile, etc. You'll also study how changing the sentence structure affects meanings. So those deeper aspects of semantics and pragmatics are studied in ilm al-Balaghah, or the study of Arabic rhetoric. Then we have an overall discipline called al-adab, literature. And adab really, you can't really say it's a part of Arabic. Adab is Arabic. Adab is Arabic. Adab is essentially, the books of adab essentially contain poems, speeches, sayings, idioms of the Arabs. So it's a collection of the Arabic language. It's a collection of different displays of Arabic speech, whether that's nathar, prose, or nazm, poetry. So in the books of adab, you find the actual texts, the nusus of the Arabic language, the actual texts of the Arabic language, the speech of the Arabs. And in order to study adab effectively, you need to know sarf, you need to know nahw, you need to know balaghah. Sarf to understand how words are formed, and of course there are some meaning related discussions in sarf as well. There are particular awzan, patterns of sarf which denote particular meanings. Ilm al-Nahw, because you need to know the essential sentence structure in order to read Arabic sentences, and Ilm al-Balaghah, to be able to understand the deeper meanings of those sentences. The last discipline, and there are many other disciplines, but the last discipline which I will point to is Ilm al-Arudi wal-Qawafi, the study of poetic meter and rhyme. Poetic meter and rhyme, Ilm al-Arudi wal-Qawafi, studies the structure of Arabic poetry. The structure of Arabic poetry. So it studies the different poetic meters that exist in the Arabic language and different rhyme schemes as well. Now, the sciences from these sciences which you definitely need, right, after learning how to read and write Arabic, you need ilm al-sarf. You need to know how to use dictionaries. You need to study Nahw, and you need to study Balaghah. And that's why these three sciences, Sarf, Nahw, Balaghah, are so emphasized. because they are the keys to everything else. If you don't know Nahw, you don't know how the Arabic sentence structure works. You can't study adab, you can't study ilm al-arudi wal-qawafi, and so on and so forth. So these three sciences are the keys to the Arabic language: al-sarf, al-nahw, and al-balagha. I hope that with that brief introduction, you have understood the place of these different sciences within the overall scheme of things as far as the Arabic language is concerned, and what each of these sciences and subjects are about. بارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم.